Tonight, breaking news as we come on. A deadly mass shooting. Gunfire erupting at a tournament for online gamers. The sheriff's office says there are multiple fatalities. Several of the injured rushed for treatment. A live stream of the tournament capturing the moment when the gunman opens fire. The FBI and ATF on the scene, SWAT teams clearing the building, and what authorities have just revealed about the suspected gunman. Also breaking tonight, celebrating the life of John McCain, the patriot and political maverick who personified service to his country. Now, the outpouring across America. And tonight, we're learning who McCain requested to speak at his funeral. Hurricane Lane and the damage done, the powerful rainmaker swamping the Hawaiian Islands, fears of flooding and rock slides. Plus, the dangerous pursuit, a shoplifting suspect in a foot chase with police at a Walmart, turning, firing at an officer at close range.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News Tonight.
And good evening, and thank you for joining us on a very busy Sunday night. I'm Tom Yamas. We begin with breaking news out of Jacksonville, Florida. Multiple people killed when a gunman opened fire at a high-stakes video game tournament. A live stream showing competitors playing the game John Madden Football when gunfire erupts and the feed cuts out. Several other injuries also reported in the shooting. Patients rushed to local hospitals as the ATF and FBI joined local authorities clearing that building. President Trump has been briefed, and moments ago, authorities revealing the sole suspected gunman is dead. ABC's Victor Oquendo is in Florida tonight.
The shooting at this video game competition partially captured on a live feed.
Got a lot of good games going on.
It's a lot. It's going to be hard to get them on stream.
Two players in the middle of the tournament for the football video game Madden NFL 19 seen playing. Just moments before the shooting, you see this red dot landing on one of the gamers. The video stream stops, but you can still hear the gunshots, panic, and people screaming out in pain.
Oh, what are you shooting with? Oh.
Police say there are multiple fatalities and injuries.
We have one suspect in this case. He is deceased at the scene at this point. He is a white male, and we are still working to confirm his identity.
Witnesses tell ABC affiliate WJXX the shooting started after an argument over a game. The LA Times reports that a disgruntled gamer eliminated from the competition shot multiple people, then turned the gun on himself. One pro gamer says he was among the injured in the shooting, tweeting, "I am literally so lucky the bullet hit my thumb." EA Sports, the maker of the Madden NFL game, saying, "This is a horrible situation and our deepest sympathies go out to all involved."
All right, Victor Oquendo joins us now live. Victor, the shooting happened inside of a mall and people were hiding out for hours?
That's right, Tom. Immediately after the shooting, people were hiding out for hours as Jacksonville police searched that area tonight. The sheriff's office says that the Jacksonville landing has been cleared. Florida Governor Rick Scott is on his way there, and he has spoken with President Trump, who offered any federal resources necessary. Tom?
Victor Oquendo live with that breaking news tonight. Victor, thank you. And we're also hearing from eyewitnesses tonight describing the panic when gunshots rang out.
I was just working regular. Next thing you know, I hear the gunshots. I look over because my job's right there by the window. So I look over. I see people running, going crazy, just running. I end up going back to my job, hiding. Then after the shooting stopped, the police came and got us, and they escorted us out the building. I seen somebody on the ground. I seen a body on the ground. I seen a kid with blood all over him. I seen people with blood on their shoes, everything. I'm very thankful, very thankful. Very, shocking, traumatizing moment right now also, but just happy that I can, go home to my family, and I'm sorry for all the people, the families that lost someone today.
A witness right there describing the panic at the scene tonight. We will stay on top of this story throughout the broadcast, but we do want to move on now to tonight's other major story, the emotional outpouring across America for Senator John McCain. The Arizona senator and Vietnam War hero who won the Republican nomination for president in 2008 died last night at home in Sedona after a fight with brain cancer. A somber procession with police escorts seen departing the McCain family ranch late last night. He will be honored at the state capitol in Phoenix Wednesday, what would have been his 82nd birthday. Flags today flying at half staff in Washington, where McCain earned his reputation as a straight-talking maverick during 6 terms in the U.S. Senate. We're also learning new details tonight about the funeral arrangements. McCain reportedly requesting former Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama to speak. Here's ABC senior national correspondent Terry Moran.
The last journey of John McCain, the hearse carrying his body leaving his beloved ranch yesterday evening, a police officer raising a solemn salute, a citizen's farewell sign. McCain died at home after a year-long bout with brain cancer, surrounded by his family, his wife Cindy releasing an emotional statement. He passed the way he lived, on his own terms, surrounded by the people he loved in the place he loved best. His daughter, Meghan McCain, celebrating her dad. In the 33 years we shared together, he raised me, taught me, corrected me, comforted me, encouraged me, and supported me in all things. Across the country, the tributes poured in. President Obama, who defeated McCain in 2008, writing, "We saw our political battles even as a privilege, something noble." And President George W. Bush, McCain's 2000 rival, saying, "Some lives are so vivid, it is difficult to imagine them ended." President Trump, who clashed sometimes bitterly with McCain, tweeted, "My deepest sympathies and respect go out to the family of Senator John McCain. Our hearts and prayers are with you." But the bad blood between Trump and McCain remains even after death. The president is reportedly not invited to McCain's funeral. Vice President Pence expected to go. Among the eulogists, George W. Bush, his spokesman confirming to ABC the former president is honored to have been asked to speak. According to the New York Times, former President Barack Obama will also be there. But on this emotional day, perhaps the most poignant statement came from McCain's fellow Arizonan, Senator Jeff Flake.
It was tough. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
I've admired him, like I said, my entire life, and it's tough to imagine a Senate without him. It's tough to imagine politics without John McCain, but we need to go on.
An emotional senator right there. Terry joins us now from Sedona, Arizona. And Terry, I want to go back to that news about who's likely to speak at his funeral. Two former presidents who are also people he fought so hard against over two presidential campaigns. It tells us a lot about McCain's character.
It sure does, Tom. It also tells a lot that Joe Biden will be speaking at the funeral service here in Phoenix on Thursday. And what it tells us is John McCain always moved forward. He could have been knocked down a lot in his life. He enjoyed a good political fight as well. He once said that a fight avoided is a fight not enjoyed. And losing was hard, but he always moved forward with gusto to the next challenge, the next fight. Tom?
Always move forward in a life of service. All right, Terry, thanks so much. And Senator McCain served his country from an early age, a revered war hero surviving 5 years in captivity, then turning that unimaginable adversity into decades of service. Our David Muir now with his life and legacy.
John McCain was born August 29, 1936, at a naval base in the Panama Canal Zone. His father and grandfather, both named John, and both in service. Wartime commanders, John McCain's fate was laid before him.
I remember when my dad's friends would be over when I was very young, and they'd say, "What class is he going to be?" Not, is he going to the Naval Academy or not? What class would he be?
He would attend the Naval Academy in Annapolis, in the footsteps of his father and grandfather. He would graduate, part of the class of 1958. Here, heading to flight school in Pensacola, Florida. He would later volunteer to drop bombs on targets in North Vietnam during the war.
That's where the sound of the guns were, and we wanted to ride to it. It is what we train for and what our mission is.
At 31 years old, aboard the aircraft carrier Oriskany, flying an A-4 Skyhawk on his 23rd run. Just as he released a bomb, an enemy missile takes a wing off his bomber. He ejects, breaking both his arms and one leg, his bomber washing ashore. McCain would land in a lake in the center of the city of Hanoi. The Vietnamese would pull him out of the water and capture him. They would stab him, beat him, and then take him to a prison camp, later known as the Hanoi Hilton. Filmed as a POW, he was asked his name.
What's your name? Lieutenant Commander John McCain.
Unable to use his hands, he had to be fed by his captors. His irreverence, a source of strength to his fellow prisoners.
How is your food? It's not like ours, but I eat it.
Deteriorating in strength and delirious with pain for months, the Vietnamese only treated his wounds after they realized he was the son of a famous admiral.
I think you have a famous name, yes.
The Vietnamese would have an offer. They would tell him he could go home. They hoped it would be a PR coup for them, given how famous his family was. But McCain would refuse. He told them he didn't want to break the U.S. military code of conduct for POWs. The first man captured must be the first man out.
I badly wanted to go home. I was tired and sick.
McCain would stay another 4 years as a POW, half of that in solitary confinement. In 1973, 591 POWs were released, and John McCain was one of them.
Commander John McCain.
A salute and home on American soil. Reunited with his family.
I'm announcing today my decision to become a candidate.
Elected to the House in 1982 and to the Senate 4 years later. He would run for president in 2000 and again in 2008. Campaigning against then-Senator Barack Obama, McCain would do the unthinkable in today's politics. He defended his opponent.
I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No?
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about. He's not. Thank you.
And it was a year ago he was diagnosed with a brain tumor, returning to the Senate floor just days after brain surgery, walking in to a standing ovation, casting that deciding thumbs-down vote on the effort to repeal Obamacare without a replacement. In one of his final public appearances, John McCain joining his daughter Megan.
I love you so much.
John McCain spent his final months with family, with friends, and reflecting in his autobiography on the power of humanity, the power of what we all have in common.
Before I leave, I'd like to see our politics begin to return to the purposes and practices that distinguish our history from the history of other nations. I'd like to see us recover our sense that we are more alike than different.
John McCain's final wish. And our thanks to David Muir for that report. We'll have more on the many sides of John McCain later in the broadcast. But we want to head overseas now to Ireland. The Pope wrapping up a strained visit to that Catholic nation with a sweeping apology. This amid a new scandal emerging, accusations Pope Francis and Pope Benedict knew of sexual abuse allegations against an American cardinal and failed to act. Now, even a call for the Pope to resign. ABC's David Wright is in Ireland.
At his open-air mass in Dublin today, Pope Francis broke from the script.
Los abusos en Irlanda.
Switching to Spanish, his native language, he made an unprecedented plea for forgiveness for a detailed list of sins committed by the Church.
De abuso de poder.
Abuses of power, conscience, and sexual abuse. The Mass was not exactly full to capacity. Many others gathered elsewhere to protest this papal visit. He's been confronted about this issue at every turn. Do you think he gets it?
I think he knows a great deal more than is in the public domain, and I think that many secrets are going to be revealed over the next years.
Overnight, Vatican insiders leaked an explosive 11-page document accusing Francis himself of turning a blind eye to allegations of sexual abuse by former Washington, D.C. Cardinal Theodore McCarrick. The Vatican's former top diplomat in the U.S. claims Pope Francis knew for at least 5 years that McCarrick was a serial predator. Pope Francis must be the first to set a good example and resign, the document says. The Vatican has yet to comment publicly on this document, but at the very least, it's an indication that the finger-pointing inside the church as to who's to blame for this scandal may reach a whole new level. Tom?
David Wright reporting from Ireland tonight. David, thank you. Moving on now to the remnants of Hurricane Lane, continuing to threaten the Hawaiian Islands tonight. The slow-moving rainmaker swamping the state for several days. Take a look at that. More than 50 inches of rain on the Big Island. Rivers swollen, that deluge rushing downstream right towards the ocean. Crews tonight are racing to remove any unstable ground amid landslide fears. And we're also watching a new round of severe weather in the heartland as we head into the new week. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all from Oahu. Rob, good evening.
Good evening, Tom. We are almost done with land.